Hello and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 Visual Novel and Narrative Game Design online course. In the last lesson, we started the framework of the action button. Well, the action. So in this one, we will continue. Now, we left off with a switch based on the event that the script is giving us. And the first thing we will complete, let's say, it will be the dialogue and the custom event play message. So I'm gonna create a custom event and call it play message and call it from dialogue. Now let's start filling the play message event. First of all, we need something to fill the message, like some variables and to read the data from the data table. So we're gonna create a new variable of type data table. I'm gonna compile and the name would be dt dialog. Now on the dialog, on the data table dt dialog, we need to choose a default variable. Actually, again, we're gonna do the same. Instance editable, expose on spawn, so we can set it externally, and by default is nothing. So compile and save. I'm gonna go to our map, select the script manager, and on dt dialog, I'm gonna select dt dialog. Actually, let's rename this to testing dialog. Save. And now compile and save everything. Now that we have the data table, let's bring it here. And again, we're gonna get row data table row. Now we need a row name. So again, we will create a counter since it's 1, 2, 3, even if it was not. And I copy paste the script counter. I'm gonna rename it to dialog counter. Now that we have our dialog counter, let's bring it in and increase it by 1 every time this runs. And actually, let's put this also in a function. Next, dialog. Oh. Now, let's bring in our counter, make it a string. And from string to name, auto conversion. Now, these things kind of remind the adapters of the 90s, adapter to adapter, but it's fine. Now that we have our row name on the dt dialog, we need to break the structure. And we know that dt dialog is of the structure dialog setup. So we break this and we promote each variable to variable. This is so nice that Unreal names them the moment you promote them to variable. Right, so we are getting the next row, we are getting the information from the next row, and we are storing them to a variable. Let's put this into a function also, and call this function fill dialog. Now, when we are playing the message, we are getting the next row, we are filling the dialog info, and we should have some kind of information that message is playing. So I'm gonna copy paste the can proceed, create a new boolean variable, and name it typing. And after fill dialog, I'm gonna set it to true. The next thing we should do is check if there is a sound, an SFX. So after typing, I'm gonna do a sequence. I'm gonna check if there is an SFX. I'm gonna bring the SFX variable, check if it's valid. And we are doing this here because we want the sound to play just as the message is starting, but it's irrelevant to the message. And here we can play a sound 2D. We don't need to store this sound, it's gonna play once, it's just the character sounds that they make. And irrelevant to the message, this should play if it exists. Let's comment this, if there is SFX, play it. Let's go on. Now, this is kind of done from this part, but we need to call to play the message. And to do that, we need to start creating the code that will do that. This will be created on the inside the dialog widget. So I'm gonna leave this for the next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.